have been operating under a grand illusion for the better part of 2 decades. We logged onto platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and later Instagram and TikTok, believing we were entering digital town squares. We told ourselves we were here to connect, to share, and to build community. Mark Zuckerberg himself built a career on the premise of bringing people closer together. The industry adopted the language of friends, followers, and tribes. But that language is a relic. It is a nostalgic label slapped onto a machine that was never truly designed for social interaction. In fact, the evidence suggests that what we call social media today has fundamentally abandoned the principles of community in favor of something else entirely. A passive, algorithm-driven consumption engine. To understand why you have been led to believe social media is about community, you first have to look at what the platforms actually reward. For a long time, we assumed that engagement, likes, comments, shares, was a sign of connection. We thought that if a post went viral, it was because it resonated with a community. The data tells a much darker story. Researchers have recently conducted large-scale audits and field experiments on platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and X to see what kind of content the algorithms actually prioritize. The findings are unequivocal. The algorithms do not prioritize truth, nor do they prioritize constructive dialogue. They prioritize toxicity and moral outrage, because those are the emotions that keep your thumb on the screen. I mentioned this before, but in one of my favorite sitcoms, The Hunting Party, the character explained it perfectly. She said, "Community doesn't sell. The algorithm is used to promote users who post the most polarizing content that would enrage viewers and promote division because anger goes viral." When the other character asked her, "Why does she do it?" she said, "Because I wanted to get rich." Let that sink in. Like I always say, you don't have to see the truth to hear it, but I digress. In one specific study, researchers found that when they hid toxic or divisive content from users, overall engagement on the platform dropped significantly, by nearly 9% in time spent and 23% in content consumption. In other words, platforms know that fighting makes you stay. They have built a business model on the back of your anger. Consider the mechanics of a place like X, formerly Twitter, or the comment section of any major app. You're not looking at a group of people who know each other. You're looking at what academics call a discussion-based community, which is a generous term for a space where individuals broadcast opinions into the void. This is not a village. It is a broadcast system. And because platforms utilize a signaling property in their code, they show you what your friends have liked, not necessarily what is accurate. This creates a pressure cooker. If you see that a friend has liked an angry, politically charged post, you are statistically more likely to engage with that anger, even if you don't actually enjoy it. The researchers noted that the algorithm often shows you content that makes your perception of the opposition worse, even when you explicitly state you do not want to see that content. This brings us to a brutal redefinition of the space. A marketing expert recently proposed a term that we need to adopt immediately: scroll media. We need to stop calling it social media because the social implies interaction. The data shows that the vast majority of users do not post. They do not comment. They barely even tap the like button. They scroll. These platforms are no longer designed for dialogue. They are designed for velocity, for the infinite loop. TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts are the purest forms of this. You do not open TikTok to talk to your friends. You open it to consume an uninterrupted stream of content from strangers, selected by an algorithm that tracks the precise millisecond your thumb pauses. When we strip away the marketing buzzwords, we realize that most brands and users are confusing reach with belonging. As one industry expert put it bluntly, just because someone double taps your post does not mean they would notice if you disappear tomorrow. 1 million followers is not a community. It is an audience. Communities participate, audiences watch. True community requires shared identity, reciprocity, and often friction. The annoying realities of dealing with other humans, like conflict or compromise. On scroll media, friction is removed. If someone annoys you, you block them. You never learn to resolve a dispute. You just curate them out of existence. You might be feeling a sense of whiplash right now because you feel connected when you scroll. You feel like you know that influencer. You feel like you belong to that fandom. That brings us to the most sophisticated psychological trick of the modern era, the parasocial relationship. Your brain struggles to distinguish between a face on a screen and a face in the room. When a creator talks to a camera lens, your brain releases bonding chemicals as if they are talking directly to you. But this is a one-sided contract. You are emotionally invested, but the creator is managing a brand. Researchers call this an artificial sense of belonging. Gen Z, in particular, has been sold this as a replacement for the third places that have vanished from the physical world, places like community centers, parks, or local cafes. It is easier to get a dopamine hit from a Get Ready With Me video than it is to organize a potluck or navigate a messy friendship. But the digital intimacy is fragile. The moment the influencer changes their persona or gets canceled, the village evaporates. You aren't a villager, you're a consumer of digital intimacy. And what happens when millions of isolated consumers, driven by parasocial bonds and fed by outrage algorithms, congregate in one place? You get a public square that operates like a Shakespearean tragedy. There is a theory called the 3T theory: tragedy, truth, and technology, which compares social media misinformation to Othello. In Othello, the antagonist Iago doesn't just lie. He feeds Othello targeted evidence that plays on Othello's insecurities until Othello destroys his own life. Social media algorithms are Iago. They do not create the lies, but they use sensing technology, collecting your data, your likes, your pauses, to feed you the specific lie that will ruin your day and keep you engaged. Remember the Pizzagate incident where a man rigged conspiracy theories online and fired a rifle in a restaurant? That was not a failure of a community. It was a successful transaction of a targeted algorithm. Look at the structural difference between a true community and a social feed. On a platform like Discord, users actively seek out a server, verify themselves, navigate channels, and talk to each other in real time. There is no algorithm deciding who speaks. There are moderators and social norms. This is hard work. On LinkedIn, Facebook, or Threads, the algorithm curates your reality. It decides what you see based on engagement, which we have already established rewards outrage. In places like Threads, the architecture specifically amplifies public shaming and call-out culture because emotional, confrontational content drives the velocity of the feed. We mistake the speed of the gossip for the strength of the tie. Furthermore, we must address the myth of fact-checking bringing us back to truth. Recently, Meta announced it was disbanding its independent fact-checking program to move toward a community notes model. The irony is thick. The industry is admitting that top-down truth is impossible. So they are handing the reins to the crowd. But as science communicators argue, facts are not as simple as a binary vote. Truth is messy, probabilistic, and often requires nuance that cannot fit in a 240-character post. The University of Oxford recently published a review noting that social media design interacts with confirmation bias and moral psychology to create division, not resolution. We aren't debating facts. We are signaling tribal loyalty. So, where does this leave us? We are at a crossroads. The evidence is clear that the architecture itself is hostile to community, but the human need for belonging is real and is being exploited. The platforms have successfully led us to believe that passive consumption is social connection because it keeps us lonely enough to keep scrolling, yet satiated enough not to demand real interaction. We have replaced the friction of real relationships with the smooth, infinite slide of a video feed. We have swapped the messy work of building a village for the sterile comfort of parasocial admiration. Until we stop calling it social media and recognize it for what it is, a behavioral modification engine designed to sell ads through outrage, we will continue to starve for connection while drowning in information. You think those people care about you? They don't even know your name. You are a thumbnail to them, a double tap, a statistic in an engagement report. You're not part of a community. You're just fuel for a machine that gets paid every time you feel lonely enough to keep scrolling. Until next time.